Implementing and realizing business outcomes from artificial intelligence, AI, requires many aspects to come together. Beyond people, process, technology, data, and governance is the need for a series of business prerequisites to be in place beforehand and or to have the capacity and capability to craft and shape these for implementation and ongoing management. AI depends upon having the data to support operations, whether this is the supply of data, continuity of data, quality of data, permissions and access to data, and assurance of data. This requires the data, the management of data, the data practices, and the governance of data. The business prerequisites and the building of the business basics is considered in this session to meet the demands for AI outcomes using data, data management, data practices, and data governance as an example. Let's get into it. Data governance and data practices for AI. Let us pick the example of achieving data, data management, data practices, and data governance to realize outcomes on a risk-based approach from AI. To achieve such outcomes, a business needs leadership. The leadership at different levels to implement. Having leadership be the change they wish to see and treating others as they would be treated is the starting point. Budget. Having budget is required. Resourcing. Resources are needed. Having time away from business operations, continuity of time, and with the required skills and expertise is necessary. Trust. There needs to be trust in the overall solution, outcomes, and in the processes to implement. A series of activities contribute to forming trust, but it does take time. Making tangible. Benefits need to be realized, outcomes seen, and operations need to be tangible at the personal, group, and organizational level. Accreditation and certification. The required accreditation and certification regimes are necessary. Accreditation and certification. The required accreditation and certification regimes are necessary. Standards, guidelines, frameworks, procedures, policies, control. Providing the required regime for use and implementation with the skilling and training, operationalization, and assurance. Service agreements and sharing agreements. Data provisions and obligations within service agreements and data sharing arrangements between parties. From meeting service levels, storage and transfer of data, to returning data and protection and security of data are included within agreements and arrangements. Archiving and records management. Changes to archive and records management for evolving needs is required. Skilling and training. Having the necessary skilling, ability to do, and training how to do regimes. Prerequisites. A series of business prerequisites that are needed to enable implementation and management, such as project management or change management or financial management. Technology integration, assuring sufficient levels of technology use and integration to enable operations. While more areas like legislation or regulatory and compliance or audit and assurance may be needed for implementation and ongoing management, it can be readily seen with this brief example how an implementation requires the existence of business prerequisites and the development of these alongside any deployment of AI to realize outcomes. The same applies to aspects like cybersecurity or other business transformation and technology transformation work. It can also be seen that these prerequisites are nothing more than the business basics which need to be consistently and persistently applied to realize AI outcomes. Work areas for realizing data governance in AI outcomes. Realizing outcomes from AI, whether for a team, business, government at the council, or state or federal level, is only a matter of the level of complexity and the scaling of the capacities and capabilities. For an AI implementation, three major areas of work are required. Supporting and enabling. The support and shared services to enable the overall implementation across operations, i.e., the capacity and capability to deliver into a business. An overall governance function is included alongside the provision of tools, processes, controls, frameworks, advisory, and skilling on training on how to implement and manage. A range of services are provided to other areas of work to enable implementation and management. A range of services are provided to other areas of work to enable implementation and management. Subject area. To create the solutions for use by others in the implementation and management in business operations, i.e., the actual products and services to be used. This is about creating the required tools, processes, frameworks, guidance, controls, and standards for use in service delivery. An advisory service, as well as guidance and support with some level of training and skilling, is required to the areas for deployment. There may also be a need for an overall oversight function as required. Such work would use the support and enabling services and provide the respective products and services to be used to other areas. Deployment. The actual deployment into business operations at the individual team, business, or other levels. Outcomes from the subject area are implemented into business with the required customization and use and use the supporting and enabling work. The business responsibility is to develop the required capacities and capabilities for its own needs and may include aligning to overall requirements. The cross-work area dependencies are seen within this approach and are managed and supported accordingly, as well as instilling the required ownership, accountabilities, and responsibilities. This approach can scale from a country through states to government agencies to businesses through the not-for-profits to the team level and into other areas of operations and services. Services and support models for realizing AI. Three main models for operations and services are seen for provision of services and support. Centralized. The operation is controlled and managed centrally, while enabling tight control and can be effective in assuring the use and adoption. Such an approach is often slow, unable to respond to evolving needs, and is often underfunded and resourced, making the services unresponsive. Distributive, often seen as letting those closest to source respond to needs, the distributive approach often sees inconsistency and ongoing customization, which brings a lack of standards. The distributive model often works well for those who can support themselves, having the required resources and expertise. Distributive can have some level of overall guidance, but management of vested interest can lead to delivery issues. Consolidated attempts to balance the benefits of both distributive and centralized approaches. Having a consolidated model requires collaboration for the wider benefits, e.g., swift processing by banks. Consolidated should provide the required shared and support services with the necessary oversight. The consolidated approach is to enable flexibility and response to needs while supporting across the overall data logistics chain. Those who can undertake activities for themselves are encouraged, while support for those with lesser experience and resources is provided. Variants of the consolidated model are often used within data governance, as well as for other activities like cybersecurity, across a range of scaling from cross-country businesses to state-based operations, as well as differing levels of government. Some business prerequisites for AI. A range of business prerequisites are required for implementation and realizing outcomes with AI, and the related data practices and data governance being no different. From budget and resources through core capacities and capabilities in project management, across business readiness to changing the hiring process, as well as the expertise in data practices. The success of implementation and ongoing use is aligned to the existing levels of experience and expertise in a range of business prerequisites and to being able to develop capacity and capability. This is for both current and emerging requirements. While other business prerequisites are required, the prerequisites apply across the work areas, the service and support models, and the assurance of outcomes. Assuring outcomes for AI. The use of a three-line model for assurance of outcomes is often applied in business and becomes part of realizing AI outcomes and in the provision of data for AI. Line 3, the audit function being an internal or external audit of a business, addressing aspects of data, data governance, data practices, and data management, to having expertise for oversight within an organization supporting aspects of audit. Line 2, the shared and support services occurring within the respective organizations to support local needs. Line 1, where the data management and governance activities occur as part of routine business operations using the required tools, processes, guidance, standards, controls, and frameworks to enable operations and services. The three-line model can vary in complexity, rigor, and extent of application. The importance lies in the segregation of duties and in the assurance of business outcomes. This session has attempted to show the need for building business basics alongside the implementation of AI. While there are other areas to address and a range of details to apply, the use of the need for data, data management, data practices, and data governance for enabling AI business outcomes illustrates the role of building business basics. Areas of business prerequisites with the crafting and shaping of capacities and capabilities has also been demonstrated. Please note that AI was not used in the making of this session and no AI was harmed in this session. May this series be of value. Thank you for your time. Please share with others. Feel free to subscribe and add your comments. May you realize the benefits of AI for your needs.